Oh.
Well, my name is Güney and welcome to round 5 of Bush League Racing's the LMP2 Historic Series. This is the finale, hosted at Silverstone Classic GP. So let's get right into the live scenes where the drivers are currently contending a 20-minute qualifying session here. So just disregard the 10 minutes there. This is 20 minutes. And that will set the grid for race 1, which is going to be a 10-lap sprint race. And then race 2 will be a 15-lap sprint race, and that will be reverse grid from race 1. So let's scroll through what we've got here tonight. So Silverstone Classic GP, 2.979 kilometres, 10 corners, a very high average speed. So this favours the LMP2 class cars very well, no doubt, on this historic track. So try get the... Just bear with me here. I'm going to get the leaderboards up, actually, and put it on there. So bear with me. Shouldn't take 2 secs. So we'll just scroll through this once again. So, I'm not sure what's happened. That's the wrong one. I see why. Sorry about this. Oh, there we go. So here is the current standings here. Head into the final round. It's Wimpinator with quite a hefty lead at the top. 13 points over Waffles, and Blue XR8 round out the top 3 on 57 points. We go further down. We've got John Dog. We got Dimple in 4th and 5th. Then we got Short Fuse in 6th position with 46 points. Andy with 34 points there. We got Sparky God with 32. Cheese Noodles with 28. We got Voodoo with 28 as well. So those guys on the verge of getting the final spot in the top 10 there. And we got Hook V8 or XR8. He's not able to make it tonight, unfortunately. He's on 26 points and he will not be able to make the top 10. Someone awesome in P12 on 22 points. He's in the mix to get into the top 10 as well. Aussie Chopper on 17 points in P13. Angry Old Fella is first round a couple weeks ago. He's contended 2 rounds by the looks of it. He's on 14 points in position 14. Then we got GTR in 15th on 3 points. And we got Fingers in 16th on 3 points as well. So essentially the top 3-4 guys still in championship contention here. So there's a lot to play for in the finale here for Bush League Racing. So we'll get to the track guide on board with John Dog, who very fortunately got another lap done for us to get a gauge off of. So I'll send you to that right now.
I'm using the LMP2 in the Nissan again, after using the Honda in the last 2 seasons, 2 weeks. We've got about 4.7 kilometres of track. We'll be reaching speeds of about 275 kilometres an hour. And we're going to be using a fairly high downforce configuration. And this is very much a unique and very old track, which for a lot of people would know. Silverstone has now been upgraded into the new track that it is today. This will be the last of this series, of this championship, before we move on to the Formula C cars, which are going to be some wicked driving and some really high speed fun. So I'll take you for a bit of an outlap. Tonight it's going to be a 1 lap shootout, where we do 1 warm-up lap and straight into a single hot lap. And then we've got a bit of a different format, which I'll explain. So basically, after our hot lap, we do a standing start from our hot lap positions. It'll be a 10-lap sprint. Then we're going to be running a reverse grid format for another 10 laps. Onto a 15-lap finish, where the standing position will be from the finishing results of the previous race. So it's pretty unique and exciting. There won't be any safety car intervention. Basically, if somebody crashes out, they have to wait until their next opportunity in the next race. Through Beckett's, which is a very famous old corner, I've got to watch the road, on the Hanger Straight, down into Stowe, which is all very high speed. Tyres are a bit cold at the moment, but that's something that we're going to have to deal with tonight. Down into Club, which will be basically flat out top gear. And port off, yep. Through Abbey, down into Cope, which is now a series of minor chicanes. Hopefully they'll be able to pull it off a bit sharper tonight. Difficult to navigate, talk and read maps at the same time. What it is, and I'll let you go back to our host, Middleman, and Noman, sorry, always pronounce that wrong, mate. But, he does a wonderful job of commentating our series, and we thank him greatly. It's a high appreciation of the work that he does for us. It's fantastic. So I'm looking forward to the race tonight, and hope
you really enjoyed that on-board perspective on board with John Dog. He gave a lot of in-depth info there on his outlap and his hot lap there, and it was a very good view for the viewers tonight to see what the drivers are contending with tonight. So everyone's out for their respective 1 lap shootouts. So currently Waffles is out on track doing his lap. So you can see the current fastest is Wimpinator with a 1:10.8. The championship leader looking very healthy at the top there with a 1.8 second margin over someone awesome in P2. But we've got to keep in mind that Waffles is one of our championship contenders. What heck can he do in response to that time? We also got Andy out on track as well, but he will be on an out lap. So Waffles is currently setting the hot lap here with his respective lap. Maximising every bit of top end speed he's got throughout the mid corner whatsoever. It's an all out attack lap from Waffles here. So he's in the third sector now, heading into the espionage section. Going to try keep the mid corner speed up quite high here. He's went out a little bit wide on exit. Is that going to hinder him? So yeah, it was only coming second best to Wimpinator with a 1:12.5. So he wouldn't be quite happy with lap, no doubt. He's currently sitting P2 Waffles. And we go on board with Andy Holden here. So heading into turn one, keeping up the mid-corner speed relatively high. Almost goes out in the grass, but keeps it on the grey stuff. Now this is probably the slowest, steepest braking zone here, heading into turn three. Gets it pulled up quite nicely. Andy Holden, very good exit speed as well. Using every bit of track on exit here. Trying to keep on the grippy part of the road as well to maximise the top end speed as we head into turn 5 here. You can hear the engine roar as a downshift through the gears in the braking zone. And he's went a little bit wide at turn 7. That's no doubt going to lose a bit of time in comparison to being able to challenge for a pole position here. Just exited the mid sector now, heading into the last 2 corners of the track here. Hits a bollard on the inside curb there, and where does this put Andy? So he's had an invalidated lap time, unfortunately. I didn't actually read the race speed there, so now we'll go on board with Sparky God. He's about to set his respective hot lap here at Silverstone Classic. So it's all about keeping up the mid-corner speed. It's more like the strategies you're playing NASCAR here. It's all about how you can keep up that momentum through these fast corners around this circuit. And without the help of a car in front, it makes it that more technical as well. So here we go, heading into turn 3, turn 4 on the exit of Sector 1. Sparky God's kept it on the track quite nicely, using every bit of road, using a bit more than Andy did before him. On exit of turn 4, we also have Voodoo out on track on his respective warm-up lap here at Silverstone. So that's why we had a 20-minute qualifying session so all the guys can get in their respective hot laps in. Unfortunately for Andy Holden, he wasn't able to record a lap time. A little bit of a wide approach there from Sparky God on exit of turn 7. Well, correction, turn 6, turn 7 now on exit of the mid-sector. We're not going to be getting sector splits for these guys, so we have no idea what the lap time is going to be. But from what I understand with the nature of the car, it's going to be a good lap, but is it going to be enough? It's only going to put in P4 with a 1:14.5 for Sparky God. Now we'll go on board with Voodoo, who's about to set his fastest lap here. So we got no indication whatsoever to gauge upon. So how deep does he go? Keeps the mid-corner speed up to 165 kilometres through turn 1. Scrolling up through the gears now as we enter turn 2, turn 3. This is the most technical section on the track, in my opinion. As you scroll back to second gear here, on board with Voodoo on exit of turn 4 now. Entry into the mid-sector. So I don't think anyone's going to be able to challenge Wimpinator at this stage. He's got quite a hefty margin in comparison to Waffles by 1.7 seconds. So he's just completely blitzed the field so far. But what does Voodoo have in response to that? Is he able to get himself at least P2? We'll wait and see as he rotates through the circuit here at Silverstone. So we're about to exit the mid-sector here. We've got a couple corners to play. So very deep under brakes, and he's overshot a little bit through the chicane. And that's only going to get him P4. Second row start so far for Voodoo. So be quite happy with that performance there. Now what has Short Fuse got for us for his qualifying lap? Got to remember, he is one of our championship contenders as well. He's very quick, and no doubt he'll be up there challenging Wimpinator for pole position. So we've still got 3 more guys after this Blue XR8, Angry Old Fella and John Dog, to do their respective hot laps here at Silverstone. So I'm not sure if any of those... So Blue XR8 is coming out on track now. They really got to get the ball rolling if they're to get everyone's lap times in. So it's going to have to be a very fast outlap from Blue XR8. But as for Short Fuse, he's currently on his hot lap here in the mid-sector on entry to turn 6. He's keeping the mid-corner speed up quite high, 226. But he's went out wide onto the grass on exit of turn 6. Has that hindered his chances of pole position? We'll wait and see as he exits the mid-sector now. Couple corners to play here with a double chicane on entry to the control line. And he's completely binned it in the last corner. He's hit the inside tyre barrier there. And unfortunately, Short Fuse is not going to be able to settle lap time now. He's well and truly down at the back of the grid now. And it's going to be a very hard challenge from the back of the grid for him. A lot of high quality drivers in front of him that he's got to contend with. But currently the focus is on board with Blue XR8 for his hot lap here. And we've still got Angry Old Fella and John Dog to do their times after Blue XR8. So let's see what Blue XR8 has in response to any of these times here. He overshot it at turn 1 just a little bit. Put the left 2 wheels inside the outside part of the grass there. Shouldn't have hindered Blue XR8 too much in the first sector, but we'll wait and see once he completes this lap. He's went a little bit wide on entry to turn 3 there. Using every bit of road on turn 4 like everyone else. Let's see if he can get the top end speed he highly desires here. 272, 273 kilometres top end speed on entry to turn 5. Has he kept it on the grey stuff? He has. So we've got a few more corners to contend with for Blue XR8. He's got 1.5 sectors to go here at Silverstone. He's pulled it up quite nicely at turn 6. Scrolling up through the gears as we go down the back straight now. 0.7 litres on board his vehicle here. So it'll be really touch and go at the end of the control line here. But it's a reasonably short circuit here at Silverstone Classic GP. And what's this going to be for Blue XR8? It's only going to put in P4 with a 1:13.5. So now we'll go on board with Angry Old Fella. So he's currently stuck in the mid-sector on his outlap. And we've still got John Dog to do his lap time as well. So we've got 1:40 left in this session. So John Dog should be able to get across the line in time. So as a matter of fact, he's already went out on track to get past the control line in time so he can set a hot lap here. So currently we're on board with Angry Old Fella on entry to turn 1 for his hot lap. How fast can he keep the mid-corner speed up to? It's about 174 throughout the mid-corner. A little bit of extra oversteer on turn 1. Has it hindered him a little bit? It may have, but we're not too sure yet. As we enter turn 3, turn 4 on entry to the mid-sector. Keeping a very steady line there through turn 3 and turn 4. Using every bit of lateral roll that he can throughout turns 3 and 4. Let's see what the top end speed is going to be for Angry Old Fella on entry to turn 5. It's not as fast as Blue XR8, 267 kilometres an hour. Top end speed for Angry Old Fella. So a little bit too much aero, you would think. Unless it was a reasonably poor exit on turn 4. We'll wait and see how it unfolds through this mid and last sector though. He's got a few corners to contend with now. John Dog is setting his fastest lap now as well. He's on entry, exit to turn 1, on entry to turn 2. But momentarily we stay on board with Angry Old Fella. He's in the last sector now for the last 2 corners. Heading on to the main straight. What's it going to be for him? It's only going to put in P7 with a 1:14.7. We'll quickly hop on board with John Dog. He's about to set himself up into the mid-sector now. So it's the very speedy part of the track. As we enter turns 5 and turn 6. Heading on to the back straight on entry to sector 3. Keeping up the mid-corner speed quite high there on entry to turn 5. So he's kept a reasonably high fuel load on board as well, John Dog. So he's not cutting it the wire with it, no doubt. So he's still got 5.8 litres to give him a little bit of lateral weight in the rear, I reckon. So what's this going to be for him on entry to the main straight across control line now for John Dog? What's this going to be for him? Where does it put him in comparison to his contenders? So John Dog, it's only put in P7, so he was able to pip Angry Old Fella at P7 there with a 1:14.7. Those 2 times almost matching each other. But it's going to be Wimpinator, the championship leader, who takes pole position in the 10-lap sprint race here for Bush League Racing's LMP2 Historic Series. This is the finale round, round 5 here at Silverstone Classic GP. And it's Wimpinator with a 13-point advantage at the top of the leaderboard. So we're just waiting for the guys to get to the next session now, as they're about to set that up. So we'll quickly have a look at the championship scenario here. So here we go, Wimpinator in favour over Waffles, who currently set each other on the front row. We got a very weird staggered grid as well. You see the old style grid here at Silverstone Classic GP. We are not doing a rolling start tonight. We are doing a standing start here for the first race. But for the second race, those guys will have to do a rolling start to get into their reverse grid positions. So whoever finishes first in this one will start at the rear of race 2. That will be the 15-lap race, the longer of the 2 races tonight. So the points are split up into the respective round. So they'll still be able to get the same amount of points tonight. It's just minimised points throughout these sprint races. So we'll see who is the true contender tonight. But it's Wimpinator with a 13-point lead over Waffles in the quest for championship glory here for the LMP2 Historic Series. And it'll be Wimpinator leading everyone heading into turn 1. But he's on the outside lane with Waffles on the inside lane. If he can get a good start, Waffles, he could jump past Wimpinator heading into turn 1. So here we go, engines roaring here at Silverstone Classic GP. And we go green for round 5, the finale for Bush League Racing's LMP2 Historic Series. And Wimpinator's going to have a slight advantage heading into turn 1 over Waffles. But is Waffles going to be able to make the move on the inside? He does. So Waffles goes up in the P1 at turn 1. But now it's Wimpinator trying to make a move on the inside. But Waffles is able to hold off, is he, as they go side by side for a turn 3. And Waffles is going to have the inside lane, so defensive manoeuvre here from Waffles. Wimpinator's went out a little bit wide. Is that going to invite Blue XR8 into the mix here? Blue XR8 right on the rear bumper now of Wimpinator. Through the mid-sector now we go. And it seems like we had a little bit of carnage in the back here, unless they just lost a lot of ground. Wait and see. So Short Fuse has had a little bit of an incident here. He's lost his rear wing. He's going to have to return the pit lane to get repairs for that, as we've got another car off back there in Dimple there. So he's went off wide. We have a few other cars going off wide there as well in Aussie. So there's a few mistakes being made earlier on, but it's Waffles with a 6/10 margin in favour over the championship leader in P2, Wimpinator. So these two, the top 2 championship contenders. Waffles has got to do all he can in these 2 sprint races in the finale. And he started it just right, putting himself up in the P1 as he goes wide at turn 1. So the laps are starting to tick down very fast. We're on lap 2 of lap 10. The lead of the race still in favour of Waffles by 0.4 of a second. These are your two championship contenders. A little bit of exit oversteer for Waffles as he's struggling on the power on exit of turn 3 on entry to turn 4. And it's Wimpinator right on the rear bumper now. He's going to be in the slipstream. He's going to be looking to make a move on entry to turn 5. But Waffles is making Wimpinator's life like a living hell to make the move. As we go through the back section of the track now, you can see Blue X8 in the background there in P3. And then Voodoo in P4 just in the picture. So Waffles still holding off a charging Wimpinator, the championship leader. We'll go back to see where the other drivers are. So Blue X8 P3, Sparky God is leading a train of 3 cars in Voodoo and Someone Awesome from P4 to P6 there. We got Dimple in P7, we got Angry in P8, John Dog in P9 there. Aussie rounding out the top 10. We got Andy Holden after not recording a lap time in quali in P11. As well as Short Fuse, unfortunately, in P12, coming in for an unscheduled pit stop there to repair his rear wing. And he's currently getting lapped by the leaders in Waffles and Wimpinator and the guys behind those. So currently on lap 3, Waffles with a 4/10 advantage over the championship leader, Wimpinator. As we go into the mid-sector now, Wimpinator still on the rear bumper of Waffles in P1. Is he going to look to make a move on entry to turn 5? He's looking to make a move, but he's not up far enough. So he's going to have to think twice there. He's just going to have to gain through the braking zones here if he's to stand any chance of making a move on Waffles at any stage through the entirety of this sprint race here for Bush League Racing's LMP2 Historic Series. But Waffles would quite a fine advantage now of 7.5 tenths of a second. So he's really fast in the later mid and then the third sector there. Blue XR8, he's got a gap in front of him and behind him, so he's looking quite fine to get on the last step of the podium in this first race of round 5. Someone Awesome, he's moved up in the P4 now from P6 on the last lap. And it's Sparky God following in behind him. And then we got Voodoo, who's a little bit slow there. So Voodoo looking to go up into P5 there. Sparky God has been relegated back to P6. So it looks like he's made contact with Voodoo in P5 because it looks like that was a redress there. So very good sportsmanship there from him. So Waffles is currently holding a 3.5 tenth of a second lead over the championship leader, Wimpinator. But Wimpinator's not up far enough. Waffles looks to be a little bit unsettled on corner entry to turn 5. He's went out a little bit wide on corner exit of turn 5. What is he able to do through the mid-sector here? Is he able to extend that gap like he has done by 2/10 of a second throughout the last corner of turn 6? 6/10 of a second is the lead in favour of Waffles over Wimpinator here on lap 4. So here we go. Waffles seems to have went way too deep on the brakes, and now Wimpinator is looking to make a move on the entry to turn 1. Is he going to be able to get him on the brakes? He's taking a look, but he's thinking twice about that. These two championship contenders don't want to ruin their hopes of winning the championship tonight. But no doubt it's going to be bumper to bumper racing between these two guys. Wimpinator with the pure pace in qualifying, but he's not able to translate that into race pace. And currently Waffles it's in his favour here. He's able to gain a little bit of a points advantage in race 1 here of round 5. As we're currently in the mid-sector of lap 5 now on board with Waffles. We'll see if there's any other battles heading up here. A battle between Voodoo and Sparky God is starting to heat up. This is the battle for P5. But for the meantime, Sparky God's got to gain a little bit of ground. We got John Dog here. John Dog, he's looking to make some ground on Dimple ahead of him, who's 3 seconds ahead. You can see him in the background now. So he's got a little bit of work to do with the laps ticking down. We're heading over the halfway stage of this race on entry to lap 6. Aussie in P9, Angry Old Fella struggling down in P10. We've got Andy Holden in P11. And then unfortunately for Short Fuse, his championship hopes are pretty much done and dusted here in race 1 of round 5 with a P12 result here. That would not want to be the start that he wanted. But it's a little bit unfortunate to see him back there. But Wimpinator's currently got the lead of this one. So what's happened to Waffles? He's completely binned it in the mid-sector at turn 4. And now he's losing positions galore. So Wimpinator may be able to seal out the championship in race 1 of round 5 here. He's got quite a hefty lead over Blue XR8 in P2. But Blue XR8 is also a championship contender here. So it's going to be a living hell for Blue XR8 in race 2. With quite a hefty margin to get back in favour for the championship here. Someone awesome in P3 now. Voodoo in P4. Sparky God in P5. We got Waffles in P6 now after that mistake at turn 4. John Dog up in the P7. Dimple in P8. Aussie in P9. Andy Holden in P10. Angry been relegated back to P11 because he's in for a pit stop. And then P12 Short Fuse. He might be able to get a position up in the P11 there if Angry's hold in his pit boom for a little while. But Wimpinator with an 8.2 second advantage over Blue XR8. His closest championship contender as it stands. Blue XR8 looking to have a little bit of pressure behind from Someone Awesome in the green machine back there. So you can see Blue XR8 in the picture and then Someone Awesome in the background there. Voodoo, Sparky God and Waffles also playing themselves into the battle for the final spot on the podium. But for now, it's going to be Wimpinator who leads over Blue XR8, who has an advantage over Someone Awesome in P3. Your top 5 is Voodoo and Waffles. And then Sparky God, John Dog in P7. We've got Dimple in P8, Aussie in P9, Andy Holden in P10. So Angry's been able to remain in P11 there. And that means Short Fuse will stay in P12. But for now, it's the battle for P2 on lap 8 of 10. So we got 3 laps to play here. This is the battle that we're interested in, the battle for P2. Someone Awesome is lurking in the background. He's trying to gain a little bit of ground on Blue XR8 in the closing laps here at Silverstone Classic GP. Is he able to gain enough time in these closing 3 laps? We'll wait and see. As he's about to get on the rear bumper, he's within two seconds of Blue XR8 ahead now. You start to see him in the picture consistently now, so that's a good sign for Someone Awesome in the quest to making ground on the top 2 position there. But it's going to be hard work in the closing laps, no doubt, because Blue XR8 is going to make Someone Awesome's life like a living hell in making that move. And he's entitled to do so, because that's what racing is. So Someone Awesome really chipping into the advantage of Blue XR8. Will actually go on board cockpit view this time around. You can see him in the picture now ahead. That is the car of Blue XR8, currently P3 in the championship. So he must remain where he is to have a chance heading into race 2 of round 5. So on lap 9, the penultimate lap here in race 1 of 2 races for round 5. And Someone Awesome is really lurking on the rear bumper of Blue XR8 in the closing 2 laps of this one. You can see the closing speed that Someone Awesome has in comparison to Blue XR8 through the mid-sector here. Blue XR8 went out wide at turn 3 and right on the rear bumper now. Lurking is Someone Awesome in the background. We're going to have to get trackside view as we see this unfold. This is the battle for P2. And Someone Awesome trying to make a move down the inside, taking a look, but he's not able to make the move under brakes. He's going to have to make the move on the next lap if he's to get up in the P2. That's assuming Blue XR8 has a minimised mid-corner speed as they go side by side through the back straight now. And it's going to be Someone Awesome with the inside line if he can hold it. He's going to try get the overlap here, and it looks like Someone Awesome has done so. So he should be able to make the move on entry to turn 8, turn 9 and turn 10. And he's got that move done. Wonderful move made by Someone Awesome up in the P2. And that's relegated Blue XR8 back in the P3 now. But he's still not out of it yet with 1 lap to go. Someone Awesome trying to hold off A charging Blue XR8. Blue XR8 wouldn't be too happy with that late manoeuvre there. And he's right on the rear bumper of Someone Awesome now as we enter turn 3. This is the prime opportunity to gain ground under brakes for Blue XR8. As he does so, Someone Awesome has completely rotated out of turn 3. And Blue XR8 has been favoured in that scenario there. So that's very unfortunate scenes for Someone Awesome as Sparky God gets past him up into the final podium position for race 1 of round 5. We've got a car off in the background there of Voodoo. So he's completely binned it into the outside wall on exit of turn 4. So carnage in the later stage of this one. John Dog will be able to move up into the top 5 now, as well as Dimple moving up into P6. What's Andy Holden going to be able to do? He's going to move up in the P7 by the looks of it. He does so, and it's going to be a victory to the championship leader, Wimpinator, with quite a comfortable margin over Blue XR8 coming out the last corner now. He will finish in P2. Wonderful podium result there for Blue XR8. Sparky God, a very unlikely podium finisher here in race 1 of round 5. Very good result for him. Someone Awesome, unfortunately not able to make the podium due to that turn 3 mistake. Heated the rear tyres up a bit too much and he'll come just outside the podium in P4. P5 will go to John Dog. P6, Dimple. Then Andy Holden in P7 with our end of race carnage here. Aussie Chopper in P8. And then we'll go further down the list. In P9, we have Voodoo. We have Angry rounding out the top 10. Short Fuse in P11. Then Waffles, unfortunately, retired in P12. So he will have pole position for this one. As far as I am aware. So we'll wait and see how these results will unfold in the second of the 2 races. It's going to be a reverse grid from what we've got in race 1 here. So don't go anywhere. It's going to be a ripper. Championship leader, Wimpinator, holds quite a hefty lead at the top of the leaderboards. And I reckon he's pretty much sealed the deal after this performance. So the only thing to play for the drivers is basically a race win here. As Wimpinator is looking to take home quite a comfortable championship victory here for Bush League Racing's LMP2 Historic Series. We're in the final round and he's pretty much sealed the deal. He's been dominant the whole season. He's had the one race at Le Mans where he was caught up in a little bit of carnage, but he's able to go through adversity and to be able to produce good results beyond that. So a very good championship result for him. But we still have the battle for P2, Blue XR8 and Short Fuse will be in the mix. Waffles is one of our key top 2 contenders as well. So we'll just go back and reiterate what the current standings is. So Waffles would have lost a lot of ground in comparison to Blue XR8 in that one. Blue XR8 finishing P2, Waffles finishing in P12. Short Fuse will be up in the list as well. Not sure what's happened here. Host migration failed. So I'm going to have to get another invite by the looks of it. Just quickly chuck a message. That's a no-no, Valley. Actually, we'll go there. Just now, there we go. Read my mind. So there we go. So here we go. This is the final race of the season. This is race 2 of round 5, the finale. Championship leader, Wimpinator, pretty much sealed the deal in race 1. So look to see everyone go for the race win here. There's nothing to lose whatsoever with the entirety of the drivers on the grid. So we'll wait and see what unfolds before us in race 2 here. So reverse grid. So that means Waffles will be on pole position. And there will be an addition of 5 laps as well. So I think they're having a 1-lap sprint, and then that will determine what the starting order is. So wait and see what happens here as we get the rest of the drivers back into the lobby. Far off. Green light racing here for Bush League Racing's LMP2 historic series here. So don't go anywhere. We still got a lot of entertainment coming right up. So we are back racing here for Bush League Racing's LMP2 Historic Series Round 5. This is race 2 of 3 races tonight. So yeah, a bit of a mix-up earlier. So this will be a 10-lap race. The finishing results of this race will set the grid for the 15-lap race. So there's still plenty of racing to come. And there's going to be Waffles leading into Turn 1 over Short Fuse. And we're going to have Angry Old Fella in P3, Voodoo in P4. Then we go Andy Holden in P5, Dimple in P6, John Dog in P7, Someone Awesome in P8. We have Sparky God in P9, then Blue X-Ray in P10. And then the championship leader, championship winner as well, pretty much almost sealing the deal in P11. So we've still got 2 races to come. Everything to play for in this one in terms of getting the race victory. And it's going to be Waffles leading everyone into Turn 1, assuming he gets pedal to the metal from the line on entry to Turn 1. So we're about to go green here for race 2 of round 5 of the LMP2 Historic Series hosted by Bush League Racing.
The game was glitching out.
So I don't think Aussie's going to be able to get in. I'm not sure how this is going to work.
What are you at?
So we're about to go green here for race 2 of round 5. It's going to be Waffles leading everyone heading into Turn 1. So the lights are going red now. We're about to go green here for race 2. And we go green. A very good start from Short Fuse. Is that going to be a jump start though? I'm not sure because he just completely launched off the line as we go 3 wide. Heading into Turn 1. Angry with the advantage in P2. You got Voodoo on the inside. And then you got Waffles on the outside. Side by side contact between himself and Angry. And then Angry comes across as well on Voodoo as well. And there's more contact between the two as they're out in the grass there in Voodoo. And there's going to be Short Fuse with quite a comfortable lead on entry to Turn 3. And Angry is able to hold off for P2 as Voodoo goes out wide on entry to Turn 4. We got more cars in the background trying to make moves. As Someone Awesome remains in P4 trying to hold off Waffles in P5. He's got the inside lane here. He's going to be able to hold on, and then Waffles goes out wide, so he's completely binned it. We've got a car off. Is that the car of John Dog that looks to be? No, it's not. So that's the car of Dimple there. So Dimple, completely 180-degree turn there at Turn 5, and he set himself back quite a distance from the front of the pack there. So very unfortunate scenes there for Dimple, but a 2.2 second lead in favour of Short Fuse over Angry Old Fella. Where is the championship leader, Wimpinator? He's down in P6. He's starting to chase down the rear end, the Blue X8 P5. One of his closest championship contenders here. Unfortunately, Waffles and Bits has left the session. It's going to be Blue X8 round at the top 5 there. Short Fuse extending that lead, but he's made a little bit of a mistake on exit of Turn 3. Is Angry able to chip into that lead just a little bit? I don't think he's going to be able to do it. It's because Angry is under pressure from Voodoo and Someone Awesome behind. Voodoo taking a look down the inside, but he's thinking twice before he makes a dive bomb there. As Angry goes out wide, he's completely stuffed up his braking zone. He's going to re-enter the track. Lucky not to make contact between himself and Voodoo there. Very good driving by those guys to make evasive action there. Now Someone Awesome's down the inside of Voodoo, and Voodoo's dropped out the accelerator there, so something's happened to Voodoo back there as well. I reckon he got some sort of a slowdown penalty, or maybe, no, he's made a little bit of contact with Angry by the looks of it, because he's let Angry right past back up in the P3 there. So there's something that I didn't see there, unfortunately. It's quite a weird angle to look from it. So Angry will remain in P2 there. So Voodoo, he's completely spun out at Turn 1. Wimpinator's up in the P3. And he's made up a lot of ground on the opening 2 laps. All the way from last on the grid up in the P3. This is a very commanding performance from him so far. But is he able to make up that 3.5 seconds, which is in favour of someone awesome at the top? Because Short Fuse, where is he? He's all the way down in 10th now. So something's happened to Short Fuse that we haven't noticed. But for now, it's going to be someone awesome with the lead of this one by 2.3 seconds over Angry Old Fella in P2. Then it's going to be the championship leader, Wimpinator, in P3. He's starting to chase down Angry Old Fella, getting right on the rear bumper in a few moments' time, no doubt. As we enter Sector 3 for lap 3 here at Silverstone Classic GP. So we're heading into the last section of the track now, turns 8, 9 and 10. As Wimpinator is full out attack through that section of the track. And he's gained a lot of ground under brakes. He's got an overlap heading into turn 1 over Angry. And he should be able to move up into P2 after an awesome exit out of turn 10. He's got the move done. Awesome move from Wimpinator. So that means Angry will be relegated back to P3. Is he able to make the ground back? I don't think he's able to. He's lost a little bit of ground after turn 1 and turn 2. See him drifting back just a little bit more on exit of turn 3, turn 4. So Wimpinator now, he's just got to put his head down and complete the charge up the P1 from last on the grid. Next in line for him is someone awesome. A very well respected, fast driver in this series, no doubt. So it's not going to be an easy task if he's to make up that ground and try to make a move on someone awesome. We've got John Dog up in the P4, Dimple in P5, Andy Holden in P6, Voodoo in P7, Blue XR8 having a little bit of trouble in this early stage of the race in P8 there. Sparky God in P9, and then Short Fuse with the lights on in P10, right on the rear bumper of Sparky God now. Sparky God makes a little bit of a mistake out of turn 6, and he's going to have to give way to Short Fuse, who moves up in the P9 now. So we go further up. We've got a train of 3 cars. This is the battle for P4 in favour of John Dog. But we'll go further back. That's the battle for P5. Dimple trying to hold off Andy Holden. This is the battle for P5. Andy Holden right on the rear bumper now on exit of turn 1. This is lap 5 of 10. So we're starting to tick these laps over now. And is Andy Holden able to make a move down the inside. He's trying to take a look, showing himself in the mirrors of Dimple. He's not being too phased by that, no doubt. He's keeping the car on track with minimal mistakes. So that's a good sign that that is not going to get to him whatsoever. As he used every bit of road on entry to turn 5. And he's went a little bit too wide there. And he's going to completely bin it on exit of turn 5. Has he held it off the wall? He has. Very good car control, not to completely pull off the panel here on his vehicle. So he's lucky not to end out with damage there, but he's lost a whole heap of ground in comparison to Andy Holden in P5. So currently, John Dog trying to hold off Andy Holden. This is the battle for P4. Andy Holden has made up a lot of ground on the last lap alone. John Dog has set his fastest lap of the race as well. So he's quick at this stage of the race. So don't discount him to get on the final spot at the podium as well. You got Angry just in the background there ahead of John Dog in P4. You got Andy Holden in the background in P5. So they're not... Angry Old Fella isn't out of the woods yet. He's still got to rotate very quick lap times around this circuit of Silverstone Classic GP. Because I reckon John Dog has chipped in a whole bunch of time in comparison to Angry Old Fella in the first sector. Currently setting his fastest lap of the race this time around on lap 6. And then Andy Holden is following the lead as well. So he should be able to assist John Dog with the benefit of the bump draft as well. So he plays himself into a podium position. That'll be the way I play it, no doubt. So here we go. John Dog up half a second on his fastest lap. And you got Andy Holden lurking in the background there. Half a second lead in favour of Southern Awesome over Wimpinator, the championship leader. So battles are starting to heat up here in the later stage. We're on lap 7 of 10. John Dog trying to hold off a charging Andy Holden. And then Southern Awesome trying to hold off a resurgent Wimpinator starting from last on the grid. He's moved up into P2 and he's in a winning position here. But he's still held back in behind the rear bumper of Someone Awesome. Someone Awesome getting the pressure applied from Wimpinator right on the rear bumper now. Is he going to take a look on entry to turn 5? No, he's not. He's going to hold ground back at the exit of turn 5. But he's going to try and get an overlap on entry to turn 6 in the braking zone we go. How deep on the brakes is he able to go? Someone Awesome looking for a cutback manoeuvre. But he does not get the traction on exit. Wonderful move from the championship leader Wimpinator. But he's not out of it yet. Someone Awesome stuck on the outside here as Wimpinator goes defensive on the entry to turn 8, 9 and 10. That's really going to hinder his mid-corner speed, is it? No, Someone Awesome completely bogged down out of the last section in the track. 1.5 seconds off his quickest race lap here. He's really dropping off the pace now, Someone Awesome. He's just going to have to get back into the right mentality in the final 3 laps of this one. Angry Old Fella in P3, trying to hold off John Dog in P4. Andy Holden lurking in the background as well. You can see them both in the picture now. So John Dog and Andy Holden now separated by less than 0.2 of a second. It's bumper to bumper stuff between these two to battle for P4. John Dog trying to hold off Andy Holden. What's he able to do on entry to turn 5? Does he go defensive or does he take the traditional racing line? John Dog just sitting it out wide here, trying to maximise corner entry at turn 5 and corner exit as he goes a little bit wide on exit to turn 5. Is that going to invite Andy Holden for an overtaking manoeuvre in the next few corners or so? By the looks of it, it's not, because he's lost a little bit of ground on the last 2 corners alone, Andy Holden. So John Dog is safe for the moment here, but will stay on board because he's still under a little bit of pressure from Andy Holden behind. He's gained a lot of ground in the braking zone of turns 8, 9 and 10 there. Getting a lot of ground on the brakes. As we go into turn 1, very 2 different racing lines here taken by these 2 drivers. And that's a very good traction and exit from Andy Holden right on the rear bumper once again. On the rear bumper of John Dog, that is, in P4. You can see Angry just in the picture there on entry to turn 3. But this isn't over yet for the battle for P4. A lot of ground made on exit to turn 3 for Andy Holden as he tries to get an overlap on entry to turn 5. Is he able to get him under brakes? We'll wait and see. As he tries to take a look down the inside, but he's not up far enough to even consider a move. And now he's got an overlap because John Dog's went out wide. And Andy Holden should make the move at turn 6. Oh, he got bogged down on corner exit there. Bit of an illusion on the camera view. So we're on lap 9 of lap 10. Wimpinator with a commanding lead here. 4.4 seconds. He started last in this one, and that's going to put himself onto provisional pole at this stage for race 3, the 15-lap race of round 5, and that will be the finale race here for Bush League Racing's LMP2 Historic Series. It's been a ripper of a series and a very commanding performance from Wimpinator to pretty much take out the championship in race 1. And he's definitely going to cement that title in race 2 here with a well-earned victory as he's entering the mid-sector through turns 5, turn 6. See Someone Awesome, he should be able to get into picture at the later stage here. Just had a glimpse of him then. But we'll go back on board with John Dog. He's trying to hold off Andy Holden on the entry to turn 5. He's got a little bit of a gap, but that's going to be Andy Holden getting an overlap on exit to turn 5. He's got the inside line. He should be able to make the move this time around if he can go deeper on the brakes. But John Dog's trying to get an overlap here on exit to turn 6, but he got bogged down just a little bit. So I don't think he's going to be able to make the ground to move up in the P4. But that's going to be Andy Holden going defensive on entry to turn 8. He's going back to the traditional line because he sees no threat as he takes a complete corner cut there. And I reckon that is going to give John Dog the benefit of the doubt and moving up in the P5, surely. Time penalty for Andy Holden. Yeah, he gets relegated back to P5 because of that corner cut. So that's very unfortunate scenes there for Andy Holden, but he did cut the corner, and that's got to be awarded a time penalty for that as Blue XR8 crosses the line in P6 with Short Fuse right on his tail. In P7, we've got Sparky God trying to hold off Voodoo. Short Fuse seemed to have got a time penalty as well. So Short Fuse did get a 3-second time penalty, and that relegated him back to P9. And then Dimple rounding out the 10-car grid here. So we're about to go into the finale here. Wimpinator will take pole position for that one. Someone Awesome joining in on the front row in P2. Angry Old Fella will start the race in P3 once again, holding out for that final podium position there. So we'll just scroll through the results here as Wimpinator has won the 2 races so far in round 5. Is he able to do the clean sweep? We'll wait and see. He also got pole position in the first race. So a clean sweep so far for the championship leader, Wimpinator. So we're just waiting on that invite to pass through now. There is our invitation to get into the lobby. So I really like to see a lot more leagues utilise this feature. The only problem is you've got to have committed 16 drivers because you can't put in reserves. It's the only problem with this feature, unfortunately, and that's why it's not a realistic option when creating online championships here on Project Cars. So hopefully they change that in Project Cars 3. So this is the 15-lap race, race 3. Pole position will be occupied by the championship leader, Wimpinator. Alongside him will be the car of Someone Awesome in P2. He's looking to make a lot of ground in the championship standings tonight with the performances he's put out so far.
No, I don't win without aiming. I've never won without aiming. Not good enough. I've always said, nerf the aim assist.
So we're just waiting for this lobby to get started up now as the seconds tick down to load into race 3 of round 5 here for the LMP2 Historic Series. This is the finale race this time around, and completely discount the statistics there or the details of length and turns because that is the GP variant of the track, 4.7 kilometers. I'm pretty sure it definitely doesn't have 18 turns, so that's why I'm very curious to know if that is the true length.
What? You just don't stand on it. Yeah. Just don't stand on it.
Drivers to load in their car setups. And there's definitely no mandatory pit stop in this one either, so it's going to be a sprint race to the end. Wimpinator will lead the pack of cars heading into turn 1. Joining him on the front row is Someone Awesome. And we've got Angry Old Fella occupying P3. John Dog sharing the second row with him in P4. Andy Holden in P5. Very good comeback drive there. We've got Blue XR8 in P6 on the third row. Voodoo in P7. And rounding out the fourth row is Sparky God in P8. P9 is Short Fuse. And we've got Dimple in P10. On the sixth row, we've got Aussie and Hooked XR8 Then we've got Waffles rounding out the 13-car grid here for the LMP2 Historic Series hosted by Bush League Racing. We're about to go green here, and it's going to be Wimpinator leading the guys heading into turn 1. But the last time around, the inside driver in P2 actually got the complete launch heading into turn 1. So expect to see a very unusual start here from someone awesome, I reckon. Don't discount him leading this one heading into turn 1. It's a very unusual staggered grid as well. It's how he used to line up back in the day here at Silverstone Classic. But it definitely caused a lot of carnage, no doubt, because it's very congested through the mid-pack there. You pretty much wheel to wheel even before the race starts, so there's not a lot to do on being able to move from one side of the track to the other on entry to turn 1. So the guys really got to pick their part of the track carefully here. They've got to do so before they enter turn 1. So it's going to be quite a difficult task as we have a driver flashing their lights. So here we go. We're about to go green here for race 3 of round 5, the finale race. It's going to be a very good start on the inside line. Wimpinator got bogged down on pole position. Angry Old Fella is moving up in the P2. He's going 3 wide with Wimpinator and Someone Awesome. And that's going to be Angry Old Fella who's going to take the lead heading into turn 1. So that's a very good launch from Angry Old Fella. Someone Awesome's going to hold out for P2. But Wimpinator's going to have the outside line. He moves up in the P2 now. But he's stuck on the outside lane on entry to turn 3. We got cars in the background there. Short Fuse is in the battle here. John Dog and Voodoo. Those guys are P5 and P6. And Andy Holden going out wide on exit to turn 4. He's lost a little bit of ground now. He's been relegated back to P8 as Dimple goes up in the P7 there. Waffles in the background from last on the grid up in the P9 as we have a little bit of carnage in the background here. Sparky God, Hooked XR8. We've got Aussie and then Blue XR8 in the background, all struggling here without a rear wing and a front splitter there for Blue XR8. So his race is pretty much done and dusted here. He's going to have to return that to pit lane and basically just accumulate what points he can get. So back to the lead this one. It's in favour of Angry Old Fella over Wimpinator, the championship leader, as he moves up in the P2 over Someone Awesome on exit of turn 10. Wimpinator's trying to take a look down the inside, but not up far enough. As you see a train of cars of 7 wide here pretty much. Not wide, but 7 abreast from 1st to 7th. They're pretty much all bumper to bumper within 3 seconds of one another. And Wimpinator's trying to make a late dive at turn 3. He's got a little bit of overlap on exit of turn 3 on entry to turn 4 as they go side by side down the back straight now. It's going to be Wimpinator with the overlap on the inside. He's going to get it done before the braking zone of turn 5. So wonderful placement of the car there from the championship leader as Angry goes out wide, scraping the outside barrier there, having to rejoin the track in front of Someone Awesome as Voodoo moves up in the P2. He's being chased down by Angry Old Fella in P3 after he's lost a little bit of ground after losing the lead of this one. So we go down the back straight now. Voodoo, he's pinched the rear brakes a bit too much, but he's held on to it. Awesome car control from him. I don't know how he held on to the rear end of that. I thought he completely binned it on entry to turn 8 and he's managed to hold on to it, but he's lost a lot of time in comparison to Wimpinator ahead. 4.3 seconds is the lead in favour of Wimpinator in race 3 of round 5. This is the finale race, finale round of the LMP2 Historic Series hosted by Bush League Racing. Angry Old Fella's lost a little bit of ground in comparison to Voodoo and he's currently under pressure by Someone Awesome behind as we enter sections 4, turn 4 and turn 5 now in the mid-sector. Someone Awesome with the lights on in the background there. You got Short Fuse playing himself into the mix as well. He's currently sitting P5 on track as Angry Old Fella takes a little bit of a tour into the grass on the exit of turn 5. He's trying to keep up his mid-corner speed quite high here as he's right on the rear bumper of Voodoo now. Voodoo has made a mistake on the last 2 corners. And he might pay for it, as Angry Old Fella's going to try and make a move in a few moments' time. Voodoo's able to hold on to the rear end once again on entry to turn 8, 9 and 10. He's gained a lot of time on exit through that back section of the track there. Angry Old Fella losing a bit of ground. He's a further... And Voodoo, he's completely binned it! He's completely binned it at turn 1! Too happy on the accelerator. And he's pretty much shredded the rear tyres and his front splitter. Very unfortunate scenes for Voodoo. He hasn't looked to sustain too much damage, so he's very unsettled in the rear end though. So Wimpinator with an 8.9 second lead over Angry Old Fella in P2, who's currently under pressure from someone awesome. You can see Short Fuse in the background, under pressure from John Dog and Andy Holden. And then Dimple is starting to play himself into the battle for P4 as well. Waffles in the background lurking in P8. We got Voodoo in P9, currently under pressure from Sparky God in P10. So there's going to be a lot of small heated battles here throughout the mid-stage of race 3 here at Silverstone Classic GP. Wimpinator with a 10.6 second lead as we hop on board with Angry Old Fella. That's going to be someone awesome taking a look at turn 1, but he's not able to gain the ground under brakes. So Angry Old Fella lives to fight another day. And the pressure sort of relieved on exit of turn 1 as well, as he sort of gapped himself by 6/10 of a second there. So Angry Old Fella tracking well, but he's completely rotated it on exit of turn 3. That's the same thing we saw someone awesome do in the previous race, in the race 2 or race 1 correction. So we're not completely oblivious to seeing that sort of thing happen at the exit of turn 3, because it's happened to a few of the drivers so far. John Dog chasing down Andy Holden in P4 now, so John Dog has been relegated back to P5. Well, correction, he's remained in P5, but he's lost out to Andy Holden in the meantime, and he's moved up in the P4 now. Sparky God has also moved up in the P9, getting past Voodoo, who's been relegated back to P10. So here we go, Wimpinator with a 14.2 second lead over Someone Awesome. It's going to be a commanding victory so far. We're on lap 6 of 15. So we go down the list, Someone Awesome in P2, Short Fuse up in the P3 now. John Dog in P4, Dimple in P5. You got Waffles up in the P6 from P8. Angry Old Fella, he's lost out big time, so he's made a huge mistake, which he did so at turn 3. So he's lost a lot of ground after that move. Sparky God up in the P8 now. Andy Holden in P9. So he's definitely made a mistake, because he was sitting P4 last time around. I'm not sure what's happened to him. Voodoo really struggling in P10 there. So he's off the road there. Hooked XR8 in P11. Aussie in P12. Then Blue XR8 really struggling in P13. So he's got a lot of ground to make up in this later stage. And I'm pretty sure he's a couple laps down now, so probably not able to do so. With the laps ticking down, he's only on lap 4 of 15. The leader, Wimpinator, is on lap 7. So he's starting to tick those laps away as we enter the mid-stage of this one. Someone Awesome, 16 seconds behind Wimpinator in P1. You can see Short Fuse in the background starting to buy into the battle for P2. So look for that battle to heat up in the later stage, because it seems as though the car behind really gets an advantage for no apparent reason when they're not even in range of slipstreaming. We've got John Dog in P4 holding off Waffles in P5, so he's made one more position up. So he's in the top 5 now, tracking well. He's right on the rear bumper of John Dog in P4 as we enter turn 8, 9 and 10. So it looks like John Dog has gained a little bit of ground out of the first sector there. He's starting to extend that gap once again in comparison to Waffles. He's drifting away just a little bit behind him. And as for someone awesome in the battle for P2 with Short Fuse, I think that gap has started to extend it as well. So Short Fuse trying to get back into the group here. As you see, Angry Old Fella, he's a lap down now. He's all the way back in P6. No, that's not Angry Old Fella, correction. It's the same livery, but that is the car of Hooked XR8. So unfortunately back in P9, a lap down now. So Dimple in the pits for an unscheduled stop by the looks of it. It's got a lot of damage on the windscreen there in the front end. The splitter looks to be completely bent and destroyed. We're on board with Sparky God now in P6. He's 3 seconds behind his next closest rival in Angry Old Fella in P6, who's on exit of turn 10 now. So he's currently on lap 9, and something's happened to Wimpinator because he's completely binned it, and he's been relegated back to P3. He may even be relegated back to P4 now. So what's happened to him? Someone awesome has the lead in this one. I'm not sure what has happened to Wimpinator. He's losing positions galore now. Has he completely screwed up his engine? He's still tracking well here. No, he's lost the tyre. He's lost the tyre. So he's done and dusted in race 3 of round 5 here. So the championship leader completely out of race 3. He's just going to have to rotate it back to pit lane. So we go on board with the race leader and someone awesome. He's got a 3-second lead over Short Fuse in P2. He's got lap traffic up ahead. He's on lap 9 of lap 10. There's a lot of tyres in the background there. And I think that's the evidence from the incident that Wimpinator has had. So he's went way too deep in turns 8, 9 and 10. He's completely taken out the tyre bundle there. And he's lost the tyre in the background back there. Short Fuse managed to get that gap within 2 seconds now, so he's starting to get on a charge here, starting to get back on the saddle throughout the later stage of this race, as he almost does the same thing as someone awesome and Angry Old Fella, but he's the only one to hold on to it so far. Very good car control there from Short Fuse, just pushing the boundaries a little bit too much, you would think, but for now he maintains position 2 here. He's got a 10-second advantage over John Dog in P3, so you won't see him in the background for a fair while. We'll go on board with him quickly as he's under pressure from Waffles in P4. So these guys moving up into the final spot on the podium. Waffles would really want that as well, so no doubt it's going to be an all-out battle to the end between these two. So this is the current battle we got heating up here in the later stage of this race at Silverstone Classic GP for round 5 of the LMP2 Historic Series here for Bush League Racing. As we enter turn 8, 9 and 10 here for the 10th time on board with John Dog. Currently under pressure from Waffles behind one of our championship contenders. And Wimpinator, he's been relegated completely back to P9. He's lost out a lot of ground. He's managed to get it back to pit lane, obviously. We're actually quickly on board. No, he's just managed to hit pit lane now. So he's going to at least go 2 laps down here. But John Dog trying to hold off a charging Waffles, who wasn't able to win the first race after a mistake through the mid-race. So he'll be looking for a resurgent result here. as we enter turn 5, turn 6 in the mid-sector. So right on the rear bumper now of John Dog is Waffles, but he's not up far enough to even consider a move. He's just going to have to be there in the later stage of the race. You got Someone Awesome with a 2.6 second advantage over Short Fuse in P2. You got Angry Old Fella rounding out the top 5. Sparking God in P6. Andy Holden in P7. Hooked XR8 in P8. We got Wimpinator Championship leader relegated back to P10 now as Aussie gets past him. Down the main straight up in the P9. Blue XR8 in P11 and then Dimple in P12. So John Dog still trying to hold off. Waffles in P4 here. Waffles goes out a little bit wide on exit of turn 1. He's able to keep it on the track without much time lost. And they're about to go side by side as we enters corner 3, corner 4. Side by side, a little bit of a tap from Waffles. It sent John Dog off into the grass. There might have to be a redress there. We'll wait and see what their interpretation from that is. But Waffles seems to be charging ahead by the looks of it. But we're on lap 12 of lap 15, so 3.5 laps to go as Waffles goes out wide there onto the grass on exit of turn 5. So don't discount John Dog here. He's still in with a chance to get on the final step of the podium here. But currently it's in favour of Waffles in P3. Short Fuse, he's lost a lot of ground on the last lap alone in comparison to the race leader, Someone Awesome. So that gap has extended out to 5.2 seconds now. So Someone Awesome should come home with quite a comfortable victory on lap 13 of 15 so far. Assuming he doesn't make the same mistake he did in the previous race. He should be able to get home with quite a healthy gap there. We've got a few cars off the lead lap as well. Wimpinator, the championship leader, is one of them because he completely binned it on entry to turn 8, 9 and 10 as Waffles almost completely rotates it, but he holds on to it. So we almost saw another victim at turn 3. So that means John Dog goes up in the P3 now, but Waffles does have the outright pace to be able to catch up into that gap. Wait and see if he can actually chip into that gap now. So Someone Awesome with a very healthy lead at the top. And he's about to enter lap 14 of 15 here for race 3 of round 5. So the two leaders on lap 14 now as we currently spectating on board John Dog. And for the next lap, we'll shut up and go on board cockpit view with Waffles as he tries to chase down John Dog in P3. So enjoy the scenery here on board with Waffles. Alright, so you can see the amount of ground that Waffles has made on the previous lap in comparison to John Dog. So this is going to be a bit of fight to the end between these two as they both follow each other out wide on exit of turn 1. They're about to go side by side through the mid-sector on entry to turn 3 here. The battle in favour of John Dog. This is the final spot on the podium. John Dog still with the advantage at the front here in P3. But you see Waffles lurking in the background now, trying to take a look down the inside, just trying to get into John Dog's head. in this last lap of this one. Lap 15 of 15 here. But Waffles a little bit too far back to even consider a move as he gives John Dog a little bit of a love tap on exit of turn 5. He's really on the rear bumper now and should be able to make a desperation move throughout the last sector of this race. So bumper to bumper stuff between these two, but is John Dog able to hold out? We've only got a few corners to contend with, turns 8, 9 and 10. It's really not an overtaking opportunity here for Waffles, so he's just going to have to settle for P4 as he completely cuts the corner. He's going to get a penalty for that. Track limits you can see there from Waffles, and he's going to come home in P4. So someone awesome with quite a comfortable victory in P1. Short Fuse in P2. John Dog in P3. Wonderful hold there on the last lap. Sparky God moves up in the P4 because Waffles has got a huge time penalty. Angry going up in the P5. So that means Waffles will finish in P6 as you see the carnage still unfold. We've got Andy Holden in P8 there. Hooked XR8 in P8. No, Andy Holden in P7. We've got Aussie in P9. Blue XR8 round out the top 10. We've got Dimple in P11. Championship leader. Championship winner as well, I'm pretty sure, in P12. And then Voodoo rounding out the 13 car grid here for race 3 of round 5. This was the finale round. I hope you enjoyed that. We shouldn't be too far off the next series as well. We're not too sure what's going on yet. I'll have to double check, but I'll notify you guys this coming Wednesday for Go To Woes Mercedes series in Group 8. So we will get a bit of a news coverage there. So for now, in between then, I hope you stay safe and I hope you enjoyed this live stream. And I'll see you in the next one on Wednesday night at around 8 PM Australian Eastern Standard Time. So goodbye.